The camera is the most impartial witness in human history. It does not judge. It does not feel. It simply records. It captures light, motion, and sound. And sometimes it captures the exact moment a human being ceases to be rational. The moment the mask of civility doesn't just slip, it shatters. The term bridezilla is often used with humor, a caricature of a stressed-out bride. But the footage you are about to see is no comedy. It is a field recording of the human psyche under extreme pressure. We have obtained 3 pieces of footage, each capturing a different kind of matrimonial meltdown. These are not just tantrums. They are case studies in obsession, narcissism, and rage. You are the observer. Watch closely. And ask yourself, what happens when the perfect day creates the perfect monster? Our first exhibit is from the professional video of a lavish 6-figure wedding. The bride, let's call her Veronica, had planned every detail with surgical precision. The subject of the meltdown? The wedding cake. A 7-tiered architectural masterpiece. The footage begins with the cake's arrival. Veronica is circling it, not with joy, but with the cold, detached eye of a quality inspector. Her face is a blank mask. Then she stops. The camera zooms in on her finger as she points to a single sugar flower. That, she says, her voice dangerously quiet, is supposed to be ivory. It's cream. The baker tries to explain. The lighting, the natural dye. But Veronica is no longer listening. The transformation is terrifying to watch. The mask doesn't just slip, it evaporates. Now observe the body language. This is no longer a bride. This is a predator. The slow, deliberate way she picks up the cake knife. It's not an act of rage. It's an act of dissection, an autopsy. She doesn't scream. She whispers. If one part is wrong, she murmurs, the whole thing is contaminated. And then she plunges the knife into the side of the cake, not to cut a slice, but to destroy. She carves into it, tier by tier, systematically dismantling the masterpiece. The groom tries to stop her, but she looks at him with eyes so empty of recognition that he physically recoils. The footage ends with her on her knees, covered in frosting, staring at the ruin she created. She had achieved her perfection, not in the cake, but in its absolute destruction. Our second piece of evidence is more intimate, more raw. It was filmed on a hidden cell phone by a bridesmaid just minutes before the ceremony. The bride, Ashley, was known for her demanding nature. The issue? The bridesmaid's appearance. The footage opens on Ashley cornering a bridesmaid named Jessica. I said strawberry blonde, Ashley seethes, her voice a venomous hiss. Your hair is golden blonde. Do you have any idea what that does to my color palette? Jessica is on the verge of tears. She explains she went to the salon Ashley demanded, with the exact color code. But the bride is not interested in excuses. Pay attention to the language. She never says, I'm disappointed. She uses words of contamination. You are ruining the aesthetic. You are a visual error. She is no longer speaking to a human being. She is speaking to a flawed object that is spoiling her collection. You will not be in these photos, Ashley declares. You can stand in the back. Or better yet, just leave. And that is the moment the dynamic shifts. A monster pushes its victim too far. The maid of honor steps forward. No, she says, her voice shaking but firm. If she leaves, we all leave. You can see the bride's mind short-circuit. The concept of a rebellion is so foreign to her. She cannot process it. One by one, the other bridesmaids nod in agreement. They begin to take off their corsages, placing them on the table. The footage ends with Ashley, alone in the center of the room, her mouth opening and closing silently, utterly powerless for the first time. The objects of her creation had walked away, leaving the monster all alone in her perfect empty room. Our final exhibit is the most unsettling. It captures a moment when a bridezilla's obsession detaches from reality entirely. The footage is from an outdoor wedding, filmed by a professional videographer. The bride, a woman named Catherine, had one obsessive rule. No guest was to wear any shade of blue. The ceremony is about to begin. The camera pans across the seated guests. It briefly lingers on an elderly woman, the groom's great aunt, seated in a wheelchair. She is wearing a pale lilac shawl, a harmless, lovely color. But to Catherine, it was a declaration of war. The videographer's lens captures Catherine seeing the shawl from across the lawn. The change is instantaneous. Her serene, bridal smile melts away, replaced by a snarl of pure, primal fury. Watch this moment carefully. This is no longer about a wedding. This is a territorial dispute. That splash of purple in her sea of pastels is not a mistake. It is an invading army. She storms across the grass, her white dress flowing behind her like a battle standard. She doesn't speak to the aunt's caregiver. She goes directly to the old woman in the wheelchair. "Take it off," she commands, her voice a low growl. The old woman is confused, scared. The groom rushes over, trying to de-escalate, but Catherine shoves him aside. She physically tries to rip the shawl off the frail, elderly woman. Guests are shouting. The groom is pleading, but Catherine is in a trance, a feedback loop of rage. The footage ends with the groom pulling his hysterical, screaming bride away, while the great aunt sits there, terrified and bewildered. The videographer later said that for a moment, looking through his lens, the bride didn't look human at all. She looked like an animal, defending her nest from a perceived threat, no matter how small or harmless. A cake, a hair color, a shawl. The triggers are always trivial. The reactions are always monstrous. The camera shows us the truth. A bridezilla isn't a bride who wants things to be perfect. A bridezilla is a person whose own inner chaos can only be silenced by exerting absolute, tyrannical control over everything around them. The camera captures the meltdown, but it also captures a warning that the person you promised to love, honor, and cherish might be the one you should fear the most. The recording is over. You may stop watching. But the images will remain.